what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith, and it is Monday, January 29th, 2024. We are going to review Conference Championship Weekend in the NFL leading up to Super Bowl 58 here in a few weeks. But first, Adam Carlson is with me. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. I watched some football yesterday and some Royal Rumble on Saturday. It was a nice weekend.
Nice. Yeah, we will have some Royal Rumble talk, I'm sure, because I don't even get that. I don't watch it, but it popped up in my feed.
We will not be discussing former Viking Brock Lesnar.
No, we will not. Or the videos on his phone.
Oh, no.
I did not hear about this. Now I'm intrigued.
We're not going to talk about it.
Win his match, so that's good.
Yeah.
Do it, Roman.
I did see something, and the only WWE/wrestling news I've heard of in years, that John Cena has a timeline and it's almost over for him. And I'm like,
have you seen the ads for John Cena's new movie?
what movie? I feel like I have. It's weird.
It's called like Ricky Stenicki or something like that.
Yes. Zac Efron is in it.
It looks like it could be very funny.
I'm willing to go with that, and I think it has a solid R rating, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
And I've kind of been enjoying John Cena lately. I finally sat down and watched Peacemaker, and I loved that.
Nice. It throws me off when I see him with hair because he has like just that square-faced jawline, but now not the buzz cut. It's weird. Going around the room, Kyle West. How are you, sir? How was your weekend?
Hey, doing pretty good. Also, the same as Adam. Good Saturday with the Royal Rumble. Good day of football on Sunday. So it makes for a pretty solid weekend.
Any weekend you get Jake Paul is a good weekend.
He's good.
Paul? Do we get all Pauls?
People hate the one in the WWE, but he's pretty good at it.
I always forget which is which.
I think it's
Jake
Logan.
Is the boxer.
I think Logan's in the WWE, yeah.
Logan is the WWE guy, yeah.
I would have known it until you said that, and then you make me question myself, Adam.
Well, I can respect either one of them for making the money they make, but I like that Logan was trained by Shawn Michaels and being my favorite wrestler.
I know it's not Chris Paul. I know that much.
Third cousin, Chris Paul. The Paul brothers. All right, let's talk about Conference Championship Weekend. I'm sad because both of the teams that I wanted to win pretty much blew their game. They blew it. One was a lot more competitive overall than the other, but we'll start with the early game window. Are we watching another dynasty with the Chiefs? Is it happening? This is their sixth AFC Championship game in a row, their fourth Super Bowl appearance in 5 years.
To put a Viking spin on this, I mean, the Chiefs already won the Super Bowl if you go by the Kirk Cousins curse.
That's a good point. I love that spin on everything. We were talking about it before it started. The Niners. We were talking about Christian Ponder. Fun fact for everyone. I wanted to bring this into the show. We were talking about former Minnesota Viking quarterback Josh Rosen. Forgot about that, didn't you? His paycheck from the Vikings was around $46,000, which baffles my mind at how much money the NFL makes. But he made $18.785 million in his career. I don't know that Josh Rosen ever started more than 14 games. That's a lot of money.
He was practice squad for a cup of coffee in Minnesota?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I looked for the elusive photos of Josh Rosen in a Vikings jersey, and it's like looking for a photo of Bigfoot. They don't exist. But I would like to see one if anyone has one.
This is a tough game. Jonathan's talking about the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
You know, for all the stupid stuff that I read on Twitter about you can never root for the Lions, they would never root for us. I don't care who roots for my team. Why you would hold that into something that holds value in your life? It's so weird.
You don't live in Michigan, though.
I mean, it's true. That's true. I'm saying, from my point, is, you know, seeing two dynasties that are going to the Super Bowl now. The Chiefs and the 49ers will have another rematch of a couple years prior. Both of those teams have multiple trophies. This is a team that's never even made it to the Super Bowl. Of course I'm going to root for that. I don't care that they're in the NFC North. Ultimately, the Vikings, they're not in it. So I don't care. I can
still say the Lions have never even been to a Super Bowl. I can keep saying it.
Yeah, that's true.
You sure can. You know, here's a question I wanted to ask for you guys. the position that Detroit is in right now, where, hey, it was a close game, it was a tough loss. Now you feel like you're 1 or 2 pieces away from trying to get to the Super Bowl. That's a difficult position, and we've been there as Vikings fans. Is it harder to be in the position that Detroit is in right now, trying to figure out what the 1 or 2 pieces are to get you to the Super Bowl, than what it is to just build from scratch? Because when the cupboard's bare, you just start from the bottom and start building up. And like, what do they even have to do? Like, what are they missing that's going to take them to the next level?
And the problem is that even if they find those pieces and they keep working towards the Super Bowl, teams are not going to be as surprised by what Detroit's done. And they're going to be a lot better prepared. They're going to know the tendencies of the team. And aren't they losing their offensive coordinator this year too?
Probably. I think Ben Johnson may be going.
Yeah, I think he's going to Washington, right?
Washington. And, he's definitely gone because last year he was getting looks. Remember, at the end of last season, Detroit finished 9-8. They kept Aaron Rodgers and the Packers out of the playoffs. They ended the season much like the Bears did this year on a hot streak. And they just missed the playoffs, but they were on a hot streak going into the season. He said, hey, I'm going to come back. The band's going to do one more tour, blah, 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 whatever cliche. So he stayed an extra year.
Yeah.
So he's definitely gone.
Yeah, so Detroit could have more trouble than they expect repeating their success.
We never, that's a great point, Adam. Is we never highlight to the actual value if it was measured as $1 or whatever monetary thing. We never go the full 100% on how crucial and how important it is that when coordinators change every freaking year.
Donatello Flores,
prime example.
Yeah.
Look what happened the year, the Minneapolis Miracle year. You let Pat Shurmur take over. What happens the next year? They just completely don't run the ball and they throw the ball 48 times a game. And the team looks completely different. But I'm trying to stay in order just so I have a little bit of my OCD ready. So let's talk about the Ravens and the Chiefs. This is a dynasty. And,
the Chiefs?
You go to 3 Super Bowls, you win 2 of them. That's pretty good. It's more than Seattle did. Remember when we thought that Seattle and the Legion of Boom were going to be there for 6 years, and then it was very short-lived. You think about some of these teams that are getting there close. We thought maybe we were going to see the Bengals become a dynasty. They kind of fall off. But the Chiefs find a way, and they do things that what impressed me the most is there's that narrative. There's always a narrative on Patrick Mahomes. For all the shit that he brings to himself with his wife or his brother or whatever else, he himself – just goes out and plays ball, which I appreciate. But they've never won on the road in the playoffs. Tom Brady owned them, blah, blah, blah. They go to Buffalo, who I thought was the hottest team in the playoffs. I thought they were going to the Super Bowl. Hey, maybe a thing bounces their way. Maybe they get a call, whatever. They beat the Bills in Buffalo. Then they go into Baltimore, and I don't care what that score was yesterday. They owned that game from the very first play.
Baltimore's game plan, I don't know what they came out trying to do. Number 1 rushing team, and they're dropping back. What? They
abandoned their identity yesterday. And shout out to my buddy Dave out in Nashville, huge Eagles fan. We always go back and forth about that. And he said he called me being funny. He was like, "Hey, I'm just making sure my eyes didn't deceive me. The Ravens signed Dalvin Cook, didn't they?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Why the hell are they not using him?" I said, "They're not using their running back number 1. They're not using the guy that starts."
They're using their running backs as blockers.
Very odd, very, very odd for the Ravens. And this is one much like Detroit where had they kept the ball rolling and did what they were supposed to do, not have stupid penalties and the stupid rule about fumbling, you just play a smart game and don't turn the ball over, they could easily win the game. And I think that would have been great for Lamar Jackson.
But average Mahomes is good, and when you have Mahomes good on the football field, he completed his first 11 passes.
Yeah, it was like backyard football.
It was. He was just pitching and catching. Weird. And then the 12th one was a drop.
Right. Interesting. Talking about drops, Kadarius Toney was live on his Instagram, and he was saying, "I'm not hurt. This is bullshit."
And can I keep repeating that I hate that rule about fumbling out the back of into the end zone? I hate it.
They've got to get rid of it. They absolutely have to get rid of it.
I'm in agreement with both of you, but I do think there's a different context for both. Like Justin Jefferson, week 2 this year, he lost the ball on his own accord. I don't think the other team should get that. This was, in fact, a forced fumble from the other team. Now, I feel differently about that. Zay Flowers, that's on you. Zay Flowers, for how dynamic he was this year, I would say equally or better than Jordan Addison was for the Vikings. Man, he's going to be kicking himself this offseason for those.
But I do not like the idea of an offensive player trying to make, that stretch for the end zone and getting penalized for it. When the defensive team doesn't recover, it blows my mind.
I get that. I totally understand that.
It sounds like it's trending, though, Adam. Can't be an effect anymore where the ball can't be advanced on a fumble. Does that not exist anymore?
That's a good point. What's good is, I think, Adam, they said that this is probably going to be the point of emphasis. They find one rule every year to really try to attack.
Well, now the hip drop tack be big, and the tush push probably.
It sucks to be Philadelphia.
The golf, or what is it, the love shove?
Yeah, in Green Bay. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Baltimore.
But I do have a weird question for you.
Yeah.
Why are so many people just absolutely hating on, the couple seconds of Taylor Swift gets on TV, but Eminem gets on there and he gets to the stands, he's flipping off 49ers fans, and people are like, yeah, woo. Is it because Eminem is dating a player or what?
Here's my whole rant on that, and this is the logical answer for this. Taylor Swift does not pay the NFL to have that happen. It's much like the clickbaity articles where people are just talking shit to get you to rage in the comments. That's all it is. And what does that do for the NFL and their social media? It just floods the comments, which means your algorithm is going to show more of her because you engaged with it. So if you really hate Taylor Swift, just ignore it because it won't come to you. Well, it's kind of
Oscar too, because Taylor Swift has brought a lot more eyes to the NFL. I think what did I see that she brought in almost $300 billion already in revenue to the NFL.
Money is part of it too, but think about if it was someone else too, it wouldn't be nearly this bad. It's because she has such a cult following. It's kind of annoying. Oh, yeah. I think it's part of the thing of if you're even associated with her, well, that must mean you like her music. And
but can you imagine if she was up in her booth flipping off Baltimore Ravens fans?
That would be awesome. Then we would all get behind that.
She would be the villain. Oh, that would be so good.
Taylor Swift up there, going like that to Lamar Jackson or something.
Okay, I just asked you guys the middle finger. Do you use the thumb or not?
I don't.
I don't either.
The last time I flipped someone off, actually, I probably would have been in middle school.
I go no thumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eminem in that picture
right here.
Eminem was flipping off with the thumb, and I was like, I don't get the middle finger with the thumb. I don't. That isn't working for me.
I give him a pass because he's very good at what he does. But
he can talk real fast.
The Taylor Swift thing is a phenomenon because it's funny. And this isn't necessarily directed at you, Justin. It's we just want to talk about Taylor Swift. Let's talk about it.
But I get the jokes, and I understand.
We already have been.
Oh, yeah.
It's just funny, the insecurity that comes out, because it's I have mine right here. I play music, guys. This is what I do to, make sure I don't blow my head off and I have good mental health. It makes me feel good, right? When I go to places, I will play hit Taylor Swift songs, and people just, oh, my goodness, are you playing Taylor? My gosh, your ears are working. Yes, I am. I think there's this macho vibe about this is stupid and blah, blah, blah. My dad's a Chiefs fan, and he hates it. And I was like, you're only hating it because somebody told you to hate it. It shouldn't bother you.
You know something funny, though? When Disturbed has been on tour and they brought fans up to talk on stage for a little bit, it was a little bit of an intermission. And they asked the girl, they said, who's your favorite music artist? And she said Taylor Swift. And he defended Taylor Swift. He said, anybody that has the balls to do live music in front of real people and put out real music, you shouldn't boo them or hate on them.
Plus, it's a little girl. Of course she fucking loves Taylor Swift. I like that. I saw Disturbed last year, and they had a phenomenal show. I'm not even really into
I'm not a big Disturbed fan, but you know what? Dude, I respected that take.
They put on a fucking hell of a show.
And they seem to really like their fans.
Oh, they do. And I love the swing from this is a band that looks like they make music for hell, or at least the radio version of hell. And then they're out here talking about, how are you feeling today? Are you taking care of your brain? And I'm like, this is kind of cool, man. But bring light on it. But getting back to the game, Travis Kelce went off. How you leave that guy, especially this year, they're so depleted. They didn't even let Kadarius Toney dress, and he's healthy. So you have to rely on rookies being developed and like stepping their game up. You have to rely on the running game. They're running backs. Both of them are great. They have a great tandem. But the story is the defense. The defense, especially.
I do have a question for you, Smith. Do you think the Ravens deviated too far from the strategy because they got Mark Andrews back and they wanted to involve him a little bit too much?
I don't know what they're. Truthfully, I don't know the answer, man. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm baffled because I don't want
Mark Andrews
Lamar
back. You kind of expected him to do some things, but you didn't want them to adjust their entire game plan because he's back.
That and you don't want to put Lamar in compromising situations, but the part of him that is so electrifying is how dynamic he is with his legs
and how he catches his own passes.
That was awesome. He ran way farther after the catch than I thought he was too. I was like, holy shit. It's weird, man. I don't understand why you would try to turn him purely into a pocket passer because that's been what makes him so fun is, his running ability. And he's quick.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he's beefed up since his rookie year, he's very quick. I don't know why I felt like that was not the smartest thing to do. I think you have to run the ball because not only was that their identity this year, but hey, basic football take. When you run the ball and you take more time off the clock, guess who's not on the field? Hall of Fame Kermit the Frog. He's not out there. So
yeah, and in the first half, in Casey dominated the time of possession like 20 minutes to 10 minutes.
Yeah, they played an excellent game plan. I think I heard this on YouTube this morning. I always catch up the weekend after games. That Monday morning, I always listen to podcasts about different takes and opinions, trying to hear a different point and think. Andy Reid, especially if they win another one, this will be 3 in 5 years. His name is on a very short list of greatest coaches of all time. He was already up there before winning a Super Bowl because it's just, hey, I know I didn't win the big one, but I went to this franchise, won a ton of games, went to this place, won a ton of games. Now that he's
won, something kind of wild?
What's that?
I think Patrick Mahomes is already a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Yeah. Think about it, Adam. He's got more, and I hate doing this because I stand against it, but this is the argument that's going to be made. Aaron Rodgers only went to 1 Super Bowl. This kid is going to his 4th in 6 years of starting. Yeah. Russell Wilson went to 2, won 1. Drew Brees went to 1. If he wins this Sunday,
they cheated to get there.
Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. But think about this: if Patrick Mahomes wins in 2 weeks and gets his 3rd ring, he has more rings than both Eli and Peyton had alone themselves, and they have historic careers. Now I know one is a little different than the other.
I wanted to loop back to this before we forget. Michael in the chat asked, how many more years will Andy Reid have coaching? There are rumblings that he might retire after this year. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, do you think Andy Reid will retire?
I think he'll do it once again, this time with the Nuggies.
Yeah, good call.
I don't know. I do think if the Chiefs win, regardless if they win or not, I think it's time for Jason and Travis Kelce to retire.
But it's hard to hang it up when you're doing so well.
It is, but there's no better way to, like, Ray Lewis winning that one in 2012. No better way than to go out. Last year, Travis Kelce, they beat the Eagles. That was a hot team. Very close game. If they go in and beat the 49ers again, you go out on top. Hey, my last 2 years of my career, I won 2 Super Bowls, and I won 3 overall. You got to ride off into the sunset like that.
Do you know what would be insane?
49ers came back from that deficit. They are not a team that's built to do that. But
right.
There it was.
You know what would be insane? Andy Reid retires, and they just hire Bill Belichick. Speaking of dynasties, like, here we go.
Well, we know the defense would be awesome, and he wouldn't have to do anything on offense.
Yeah.
Even though that is what Andy Reid is known for, is scheming people open and just having, everything in the building. I thought about that today, man. Just how much the difference makes, and you kind of alluded to it, Adam, at the beginning of the show. Like, you just have to have the perfect clique of people to run everything. But with whatever Andy Reid does, it fucking works.
Can you imagine if Casey had like a good, reliable receiver?
Oh, God.
Because, I like some of the guys they have, but they're not guys you can trust and rely on.
Not even saying you get a Justin Jefferson or this year a CeeDee Lamb or
and Adam
a Jamar
Thielen
Chase.
Would be great for them.
And Adam Thielen, a Stephon Diggs right now. Who's the guy that's underrated? Terry McLaurin out of Washington. Somebody like that.
Oh,
Just somebody like that, and that will elevate the offense there. But It's what's going to be tough. Hey, he would be a star over there.
Actually, he probably would look pretty good in that offense.
What is going to be a dynamic thing to look at for the Chiefs is if Andy Reid I think Travis Kelce retires this year before Andy Reid would if they win or lose. I think this is Travis Kelce's last year, but I think replacing him is going to be the biggest blow to the team. Even if Andy left, you still have that quarterback. And if Travis Kelce stayed, you'd still have them playing together. But when Kelce leaves, I mean, we're talking about the guy too, and this pissed a lot of people off on the internet this weekend, but this is the guy who has the most receptions in postseason history. He passed Jerry fucking Rice, man. That's insane. That's crazy.
How does that piss people off if it's a fact?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying, hey, is this the greatest tight end of all time? And they're like, this isn't even the greatest tight end in Chiefs history.
I saw that, and I don't know whether to agree with that or not.
It's absolutely not true. He is past Tony Gonzalez 100%.
I mean, Tony Gonzalez was great, but I would probably take Travis Kelce over him.
So for what you're saying, Kyle, I know what you mean. I'm not taking it as, well, I picked this person over that person because the eras were different. But at the end of the day, what do we always ask? What is your goal? To win a championship. How dominant were you? One is way more dominant than the other. What do you mean? Like, I can't get that past my head, but people were shitting all over Travis Kelce in these comments, and I'm like, you're mad because they went to Taylor Swift. You're not actually mad because he catches. One kid said, I can't get over how stupid we are as a human race. He goes, oh, yeah, Captain Checkdown. And I'm like, first of all, he doesn't throw the ball. You fucking
Brock Purdy?
No, he's saying Travis Kelce. He catches the check down. That's all he's good for.
Really?
Like, his job is to catch the ball, and he does that very well. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Also, didn't he have like 11 catches yesterday for like 100-something yards? What the fuck are you talking about? It makes my brain
stay out of comment sections if you can, because they are not great.
Nope.
I was happy to see it. I couldn't believe, because I just didn't think that would be a thing. Oh, like you always think of Jerry Rice in the yards, or like Emmitt Smith in the yards. You're never going to pass that. Tom Brady in the yards. You don't think about the catches. Okay, cool. And I clicked on the little comment box. Boy, do I regret that.
I enjoyed the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view, Adam, and then I went online and looked at Reddit, and everyone was like, "This is the worst pay-per-view in the history of pay-per-views." I'm like,
men's number 30 was such a waste.
I'm like, I enjoyed the whole show from start to finish, and apparently no one else did.
I didn't like that the two matches that weren't Rumbles ended with shenanigans.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a PLE, a pay-per-view style event. Don't have your matches end with disqualifications or, cheating or whatever. Give us a real result. Save that stuff for Raw and SmackDown and whatever,
I also, what are we talking about here? Yeah, so the thing, back to Kelce one more time, is
apparently his name's Maato.
Maato, yeah. And why don't you change it to Kelce? How much you can save? Stupid commercial. It's so good.
I hate that shit.
But the crazy thing that I've noticed, and this is a shout out to Travis Kelce, it'd be one of the things I would tell him if I ever got to meet him is looking at different things. Like we think about Randy Moss just because it's the first Vikings receiver I think of. What was he good at? He was very speedy and he was athletic and he could make, the 50-50 ball was like with Calvin Johnson. It was like, that was probably an 80-20 ball with this guy because he's that good. What I watch Travis Kelce do so well is find the hole in zone coverage or in the middle of the field where, I don't expect tight ends to run routes outside the numbers, which he's caught some passes outside the numbers, of course. But seeing what he does so well is finding where there's just enough room in the coverage where it's soft. He finds it every game. There's very rarely a game where he only has one or two catches and he's just completely shut out. And he's just made a living off of that. And I think that's crazy that that's it's kind of like Adrian Peterson-esque where we know what's going to happen and what's coming and he's still going to do it. So it kind of speaks to the greatness, but
are you saying that everyone knows the ball is going to go to Alexander Madison and you still can't stop him?
The problem
just like
you can't stop it.
Just like Adrian Peterson. No, It turns out you can stop them.
Especially out of the end zone, which they kept him out of the entire season.
What did they say on the telecast yesterday? Detroit had what, 2,000-yard running backs with like 10 touchdowns apiece.
Oh yeah.
And Madison can't crack 1,000 yards or get a single touchdown. Come on.
Hey, he had a receiving touchdown.
We're so down in this division. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. We're third at best right now. It's terrible.
I still believe Chicago is gonna blow it. They're gonna do something stupid, and like we won't have to worry about them for too long.
I think they're gonna draft Caleb Williams. Everything that out of that camp points to them. They fired their whole offensive staff. I mean that was like the biggest. Oh yeah, they're definitely drafting this case. They're gonna call his parents and be like, "We are going to get a coordinator specifically for you because we think you could be the next Patrick Mahomes." Like,
and then the Vikings can trade for Justin Fields.
What's that?
The Vikings can trade for Justin Fields.
Hey, if you guys want to hate me on this show, I wouldn't hate that at all. I wouldn't. If it was, I don't want to give up a second because I think the Vikings don't have one for the Hawkinson trade, maybe, but or maybe they do. Maybe they don't have a third. But anyways,
they don't have a third.
That's what I wanted. Give him a third for Justin Fields. Take him. You were going to take him in the first, anyways. Why not? He looked like he progressed pretty good at the end of last year. Fuck it, take a chance.
I hate it.
My only concern with him is
I don't want that. I don't want the used car.
I don't hate it, dude.
Give me Tannehill.
Here, oh God, no.
Oh, that's somehow worse.
Kyle, here's how I'll sell it on you. You know, you have to have rookies come in. You know, the first year is very shaky because, you know, the game is faster. But he's already been in the league. My only concern with Justin Fields is just don't get concussions, dude. He's got a hell of an arm and he's athletic as shit. I just need him to get a little more accurate. I think he could do that with Kevin O'Connell because let's face it, the Bears are terrible at fucking developing quarterbacks. We got some weapons over here.
The Bears O-line might actually be worse than Minnesota's.
Yeah, because the Vikings have such a strong history of developing quarterbacks.
It's true. It's true, but I'm looking forward now. I like the coach. I really do.
I want the team to draft and develop our guy, not get someone else's used tire with half the tread gone and say, well, you know, it's summertime and it's supposed to be a light winter and I think we can get a little bit out of these used tires here. And Justin Fields, no, just go buy a new set. Just go buy a new set. So do you have
quarterbacks that might go like in the mid-first round, maybe second round that you think Minnesota should probably take a chance on? Have you taken a look at any of those prospects yet?
I haven't dove that deep into the draft yet, Adam.
Because people are really liking that Bo Nix guy.
It's not the fact that they probably could take one of these guys. For me, it's all about the value. If you end up screwing yourself out of a defensive tackle that's generationally like great, or a corner that is the next Sauce Gardner or whomever, because you wanted to go get J.J. McCarthy at 11, you deserve to be fired and get out of.
Pass on Kyle Hamilton. We don't want him.
Jesus Christ, it's all I talked about yesterday. How bad Lewis Cine has been, and then this kid just is phenomenal, and he was right there for the Vikings. He was the best player on the field yesterday.
What? Does Lewis Cine make this roster next year?
I almost think he has to.
Well, it depends. It depends on what happens in the safety room, but yes, one more year, yes. He's a first-round pick.
They ain't gonna throw him away yet.
No. To be honest, I'm trying to trade him. That's just me. I know that's not what the Vikings are going to do.
There's no value there. That's the bad part.
They would lose out on their ass for the value. So they might be able to get a fifth out of him if they're lucky.
Boy, that's awful. That's awful, dude. I wonder what other teams had him graded on their draft board. I wonder if he was highly rated, like if he was going to go where he went, regardless if it was Minnesota or some other team, or if they just way overshot.
I think Kuiper had him mid-second, so close, I guess. Close-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that Reisner might be a little expensive for Minnesota. Because I don't believe he allowed a sack at all while he was in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's great. Let's not have that. Let's just not spend that money.
But, you know, extending Justin Jefferson sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be priority number one. That's above for me. re-signing Kirk Cousins. You cannot let JJ walk.
Dude, you got to figure that out just to figure out where the rest of your salary cap is for the foreseeable
future. And you got like 20 more positions on the roster you got to fill.
Yeah.
To your point, Kyle, with Lewis Cine, I didn't do much research on. I know once we selected him, I looked at the highlights and then listened to like Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks. They're like, oh yeah, this dude, like straight line, dude, he's a thumper. And I'm like, oh cool, we got another Harrison Smith type or a really good Andrew Sendejo. That's cool. And we haven't seen him on the field for 2 years. So that's why
I want to say one other thing about Dalton Risner before we forget.
Okay.
Minnesota, I don't know why they waited so long to sign him, but when they when they signed him and ended up trading away Ezra Cleveland, and they got a draft pick, Ezra Cleveland was going to be a free agent this offseason as well, and he probably wasn't going to end up returning. So essentially what they did was they paid whatever they paid Dalton Risner this season. What was it, like $3-4 million, something like that?
Yeah.
And they pretty much bought a draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And upgraded at the position.
See, that's the smart stuff that I like that Kwesi does. What I don't like is within the division, seeing the Detroit Lions absolutely murder the draft 2 years consecutively. And now
you say that, but I don't see JMO as being a big win for them yet. He had that one big play on Sunday, and otherwise, like even during the regular season, he's been kind of quiet. That's not saying he won't come into his own, but
right, I agree. I think he'll still develop, but that's just one player just to like battle that point. Everything else they've done has been great. Remember when we did the live show?
I was real skeptical of Gibbs.
That's where I was going. We did the live show. We're like, Detroit takes a running back at 6. What are we doing here? And then he's fast. He's fast. He's real good. And then,
Then they got Laporta Potty.
Laporta, fuck man, he might have been the best tight end not named Kelsey this year.
I call him Laporta Potty, but he is good.
He's very good.
But I can't resist the Laporta Potty pun.
Fuck, they nailed it with the Aiden Hutchinson pick too. He is damn good. He had 8 sacks in their last 4 games. Holy shit, dude! And he's still on the rookie deal. So Detroit's trending. I think Jared Goff is comfortable. Penei Sewell's a home run as a tackle. Like they're going to be there.
I remember Adam was really big on him on the draft that he came out. I know he was a guy you wanted in Minnesota.
Well, we can kind of shift to that too. Can't believe we've been talking for 33 minutes. I cannot believe the absolute meltdown that the Detroit Lions had yesterday. They should be in the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the elephant in the room to start with. Do you kick the field goal or do you stand behind Dan Campbell for going for the touchdown and missing? You have to go for the field goal to go up 3 scores. I mean, you lost by a field goal.
Statistically, going for it was a better option there because their success rate was higher than the make rate for the field goal. So I get statistically, plus with Dan Campbell being a little bit of a risk taker, I get going for it. Would I have gone for it? Probably not.
Same.
But I understand and respect why he did.
Yeah. I think both can be true. It was such a night and day different game. And you said it earlier, Adam. I said it last week in the preview. San Francisco has impressed the shit out of me through these playoffs because this is not the game that they are used to. The stats, speaking of like Detroit going for it, hey, what did the analytics say? The stats tell you when the 49ers are down by like 7 or more, they lose. That's just how it works. And the last 2 games, they had to claw and fight their way back in. And I cannot stand that I'm about to give Brock Purdy credit, but he was running around using his legs.
Oh, yeah.
Overcame a turnover, and he looked damn good yesterday. And they fought their way back in out of a 17-point deficit, and they capitalized on that momentum. Got sucked out of that Detroit sideline so fast. Man, this could be. I'm hoping it shapes up to be a good game. What I think is going to happen is this Super Bowl is going to be another 13-3 New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams.
I don't see that happening.
I hope not. God,
I really
send a thank you letter to the Panthers.
What's that?
Thank you for the running back.
McCaffrey. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear the first part. That's hilarious. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's pretty good. He's pretty good.
There's still Vikings fans out there that think that the 49ers are going to go after Kirk Cousins after this season is up, and like
they don't need him.
I suppose if they lost the Super Bowl, maybe you could talk yourself, if you're the 49ers brass, into upgrading to Kirk Cousins. But man, they're not going to spend that much money to bring in Kirk.
San Francisco, they can have Nick Mullins. Here you go.
You've got Brock Purdy for absolutely nothing, and he's playing very good football for them. You can make fun of him for he checks the ball down here or there, or whatever. They're paying him absolutely nothing, and they're in the Super Bowl.
And they even got rid of Trey Lance. Don't need him.
Right.
Well, to your point too, Kyle, like I said that yesterday. I was like, well, can't wait to watch these 6-yard out routes and checkdowns. But if that's what the coach asks him to do and it works, yeah, I'm bitching because it's not entertaining to watch. That I want to see the high flying Buffaloes of the league, but that's not what the Super Bowl is going to be based on. You got to think too. This is a Kansas City team where their identity the entire time that Patrick Mahomes has been there has been airing it out to XYZ receiver, whatever, and Travis Kelce. Their defense is number 1 in the league. Their identity of the team is Chris Jones and that front seven. And then what do the 49ers do?
But they're still going to match up poorly against San Fran in the trenches. San Fran is stacked.
They are. Yes.
And you can pass on San Francisco, so this could be a higher scoring Super Bowl.
I hope it is. I'd love to see the fun with that. I think it's a lot more fun when it's high flying, like last year with Chiefs and Eagles, or years past when it was the Eagles, the Patriots. That was a crazy Super Bowl. I'm hoping it's like that.
I remember one year I was at a casino out of town, and it was at what was it? And I think it was the Patriots hosting the Super Bowl because it was really snowy, and you couldn't really see anything that was going on. I don't remember what year that was, but that year was wild. I want to say, was that the year of the Tuck rule?
Oh, that would have been the AFC Championship. Yeah, that would have been, 2001, 2004, something like that?
I think that was that year, yeah. I'm old.
Phillips. Who are we talking about?
Wes Phillips, potentially? I don't know.
Michael, who are you talking about? Phillips.
Phillips on... No. Okay, no.
But yeah, going back to the point of the identity of these teams, Kansas City's identity this year, which is just is a tribute to coaching and knowing what you have. The O-line, nice. Is Kansas City's identity this year is defense. They're great at holding teams down and not letting them score a lot, and then they in turn score more points than you because they have the best quarterback in the league. But also, it's the same damn thing that San Francisco is good at. They'll pile up. They have so many dynamic playmakers on offense. You got to think Kittle will get in there and block a freaking left tackle, and he's happy to do that. But he's also a great pass catcher. Christian McCaffrey can run and catch the ball anywhere. Deebo Samuel's the biggest X factor for me because he just does so many things well. But Brandon Ayuk is also a good.
Ayuk doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
He doesn't. To me, he's the best number 2 in the league. He's very, very good. But you got to think of all the stuff I was just saying. All that is built around all 4 of those guys that are either running or catching the ball. They can all come in and do what? Get together and just make a wall of humans and run the ball at 5 yards a stint. And then how do you stop that? So it's going to be interesting because I talked about Kansas City's defense just now, San Francisco's offense. Kansas City's offense this year is predicated on the run, and it's never been this heavy on the run. Pacheco has had a career year, and then they have a great backup, like I mentioned earlier, with the tandem. They still have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Jerick McKinnon is still there. They've got a great stable of running backs.
We haven't seen McKinnon too much lately, but he is there.
He is, and he could be working on his second Super Bowl, which is nuts.
I haven't seen the Belldozer that much either. Is he still there?
He is there. I saw him in the game yesterday. It made me laugh. It's like former Minnesota Viking great, Blake Bell.
So this is a question I have too. What is the identity of the Minnesota Vikings underneath Kevin O'Connell? You know, we're talking about the Chiefs and the Ravens and all these other teams that you can point to. And, you could look back underneath Mike Zimmer and we knew what Mike Zimmer wanted. Hey, he wanted a stout defense. He wanted, his to be able to stop the run, and he wanted to be able to run the football. That's what Mike Zimmer wanted. And I still don't quite know underneath Kevin O'Connell what the Minnesota Vikings want to do. Logic was going to say you're going to spend a lot of money for Justin Jefferson. You want to put up a lot of points and be a high-scoring offense, right?
the team runs through Alexander Madison.
So
count me out.
Here's what I think you nailed it, Kyle. Is you look at the 2 years. Look what Kirk did compared to when the Zimmer era was going on compared to Kevin O'Connell. The first year, team goes 13-3. We say, damn, Kirk was risking it a lot more this year than he normally probably would be comfortable with. He's airing it out. It's the pass. This team is on the pass because you have the best wide receiver in football. You had when Thielen was here, you had a great 2. Now with him gone, you get Addison. Now you got a great 1-2 punch. Halfway through the year last year, not this season, last year, they get Hawkinson. It's all about spreading the wealth around, in my opinion, and airing the ball out. The problem is, especially this year, you see what happens when you go cheap on the run game, which has to be sort of balanced. It doesn't have to be 50-50 anymore. But if you want to do 65-35, that 35% better be damn good, and it was shit this year. And I don't – that's just another thing that's going to piss me off about this team, about the draft and the offseason is, are you going to go cheap there again? Because you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should invest.
But you got to upgrade at running back. You got to upgrade at guard. You got to upgrade at defensive tackle. You could probably try to upgrade at cornerback. What?
That's 4 major positions you just listed. And think about that, Adam. 4 of those. How many of those statistically, mathematically in the history of the NFL are going to work out to be B+ or better grades? 2 if you're lucky.
Right.
2 if you're absolute. 3 if it's just a miracle. You're never going to hit on all 4 of them. That's
this
why
team, man. This is This is why I agree with you, Smith. We're a couple drafts away from being super competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the absence of probably what will be Danielle Hunter. So there's one handful.
Hunter, Davenport, Wanham probably might all be gone.
Davenport, you can kiss my fucking ass. You're a terrible host. God, I'm not even mad at him, dude. Get your money. Quessy, that was very stupid of you.
And you guys are right.
God, that was stupid.
They have to gut the running back room. I mean, it's Ty Chandler is the only one I'm keeping.
I like Cam Akers, but I don't know what. Just like much like with Kirk, like everybody's narrative on Kirk now is, hey, we gave him his flowers because we actually did like him and we just talked a lot of shit. But hey, he's 36 and he has an Achilles injury. You're like, it's kind of a point. I don't like it either, but it's not a terrible point.
And Cam Akers is an Achilles. You really gotta kind of be careful with that too.
Exactly, because he's plant the foot, run. Can he still do the same cuts? And you don't know with a running back how that's going to affect. I'm assuming he's going to heal just fine and come back great, but
I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, there's 5 positions you named, Adam. They'll be lucky if they hit it out of the park on 2 of those. And
you're also probably fiddling around with the kicker in the offseason. I know you can
possibly go into the punter too.
Yeah, you can go into the undrafted pool for your punter kicker. But
I'm slamming my fist down for the punter. He shouldn't go anywhere. I love him. Big boy punter for life.
Well, we've all learned from Mike Zimmer. We don't even call him by their names anymore. It's the punter, the kicker.
But what's funny is you guys remember when before Daniel Carlson got cut out, sending you guys pictures of the holder holding the ball crooked. Don't change up the holder to somebody who doesn't hold.
Yeah,
correct.
And this is hindsight being 2020 and us having the answers to the test right here. But there is something to be said. I am right to a certain percentage, whether it be small or big. How in the fuck are you a professional football team and a coach and you can't see? That's the little details that will absolutely screw you. It's like, how did you miss that? Don't you have a special teams coach specifically for these 3 guys?
Well, if the Vikings are desperate, they might be able to pick up if Green Bay cuts him, they can go get Anders Carlson.
I don't want to. He's been shaky.
I remember that scenario that we're talking about with the holder that had never held before.
Oh yeah, and I would send you guys pictures of the hold circle, then be like, this is not right.
That was the punter that Rick Spielman fell in love with that he traded for.
Right.
And he had I don't remember his name because COVID shot my memory. Yeah. But he had never held before, and they fell in love with him because he's got this massive leg. And it's one of those situations. Nope. It's one of those situations where they thought, we can teach him on the fly. Oh, it'll be fine. He's never held before. We can teach him. It'll be all right. And it wasn't.
Ryan Quigley, Britton Colquitt. Here we go. Vikings punters the last 6. Here we go.
There you go, Adam. Yep.
Yeah, it's Corey Vedvik.
Oh, okay.
Corey Vedvik. Yep.
That's crazy. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm looking here. Ryan Wright, Jordan Berry, Colquitt, Matt Weil. I forgot Matt Weil. He only played 16 games. Ryan Quigley, Jeff Locke. And right now,
remember Jeff Locke? Jeff
Ryan
Locke
Wright
was the guy that he was the guy that Indy brought in to replace McAfee with, and McAfee totally shit on him on his podcast.
Oh yeah,
where he was like, "Yeah, I can tell the guy they brought in sucked."
Ryan Wright is close to tying with Jeff. I mean, he'd still need another. He just needs one more season. Games played for the Vikings. Jeff Locke, 48. Ryan Wright already has 34 games played for us.
Boom.
That's the last 10 seasons. So if he plays one more season, he'll be the most prominent one in the history for the last decade. But, man, I forgot about that guy. Yeah.
Remember when we had like Ryan Longwell and Chris Cluey and who was the holder? I don't remember the holder, but he was here forever. And it was like you didn't even have to worry about it. It's like, hey, there's your special teams. We're good.
One thing I always write when I'm on the Viking games is how I love having that consistent, special teams unit. The holder, kicker, punter. If you want to change up a gunner or something like that, that's fine. But it's all about getting that consistency at those other 3 spots.
Adam, did I see this in your article or someone else's? Maybe not. Was it players that used to play for the Vikings that could make a return?
Oh, yeah.
Can we bring Cordero Patterson back, please? Please. I'd take him as running back 1 over Alexander Madison yesterday.
Well, you think about all the things you could do with him at this point because he's gained experience in so many different things. He was a gunner on special teams. He, returned kicks. He played running back. He played receiver. You could plug him in anywhere you needed him.
That's Super Bowl champion, Cordero Patterson. To all of you peasants out there, put some respect on his name. I would love that. Even if it's just for a year, fuck it, go get him. He's going to be cheap.
Yeah, I think on that list I have 4 running backs.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Pick one of them.
It's my favorite thing to bitch about because I always wear my Vikings gear everywhere I go. And, tough year. And I was like, did you know? It's like somebody that just forces information in your ear that you don't want. Like, hey, did you know the Vikings had a leading rusher that didn't score a touchdown in 18 games, 17 games, whatever it is? Not one. 0 touchdowns from the leading running back. That's what we do.
I can't believe he only had 700 rushing yards.
I can.
Wow.
I can definitely believe that. And who was sitting back saying, "I fucking told you so"? Dalvin Cook. He didn't do anything.
Have a lot of room to talk.
Yeah, but he went to a team with a younger running back. He would have been fine this year for the Vikings. Would have been fine. Do you not want to pay him? Sure, but I also don't want to pay Alexander Madison to do nothing.
But Madison only got 3.5. I mean, Cook was get what, 20?
Yeah, but every year he was here, he got over 1,000 yards. And he would catch the ball and score touchdowns. Like we're so far removed from that.
I don't think he would have done that with the Vikings.
Yeah, not with these quarterbacks.
No. What would have happened is he would have been overpaid this year, and then we would be like, oh, we should have let him go a year earlier. But he would have, in my opinion, would have been healthy enough to get 1,000 yards and then also find the end zone, which is not what happened. I cannot believe how bad our running back number 1 was. Ugh.
Is there a player currently under contract that fits that bill for the, we should have got rid of him a year sooner? Like, is there a guy on this coming season under contract that you could point to for like, oh man, now would be the time to trade him?
If I say it, chat's going to hate me.
Do it.
But it's Harrison Smith.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We mean that with
and Harrison Smith had a decent year this year, but
yeah.
He's going to get, what, $21 million next year? Is that what he's scheduled for?
No fucking chance he's worth that much money. And I love that's like Ring of Honor player for the Vikings.
And I love what Ben's been doing. Ben's been real good. Metellus has been good. And of course, they still got Scene sitting there waiting to see what he's got. So I don't know if you have to draft or trade for a safety. Like I wrote in that returning players article, it's like, I have no idea if Minnesota needs a safety or not.
I don't know.
Harrison Smith at that much money doesn't make sense. And it's fair to say, like, you shouldn't have to keep asking players to take hometown discounts. Not everybody's going to do what Harrison Smith has done or Danielle Hunter has done in the past. So why should they? But at his age and the cost, there's no chance that I would ever be on board with that. That's the other thing too, Kyle. We were talking about it earlier, and I wanted to say it, but I got sidetracked. You said, "Oh man, we're like 2 drafts away." It's not only that; we're 2 cap situations away from maybe breathing normally. This cap situation still sucks. There is room, and it's slowly getting better. But this is not a well. Next year we're going to have $80 million and we'll be fine. No. This is a slow burn. This is horrible because what sucks is the Packers draft very well, and then Detroit has done both the free agent and drafting. They've nailed it, and now you're just kind of like, I can't believe. I said to one of my best friends the other day, I can't believe removed from 1 year ago on the calendar this year. The Vikings are bummed. They get eliminated in the wild card. They win 13 games in a span of 18 months. You're going to go from first to worst in your division. That's where I feel like we are. Because
let's talk about something interesting. Because I really thought that Kwesi, the way he was doing the finances, like he was getting rid of all these big contracts, so he could free up room down the road for bigger free agents and making some moves. But then he takes like contracts like Kirk Cousins and he kicks it down the road, and he takes Marcus Davenport's money, kicks a little bit of that down the road. So now we're both paying for them next year, even if they're not here, and that's going to hurt the salary cap. I mean, are we just like short-term hurting ourselves instead of long-term hurting ourselves, or what's the plan here?
It's difficult because the Vikings are they never fully commit to a rebuild.
No.
And I know that they've got rid of a lot of veteran players, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. It was difficult, but they probably made the right decisions with a lot of the people they got rid of last offseason.
Right.
And like Smith said, you're starting to get the salary cap. You're starting to get it under control. But then you also want to win now. And so it's difficult to...
And when you're a young GM like Kwesi, you got to win. You got to win some games and
you want
make
to
the team look good.
Yeah, you want to prove yourself. You don't want to get replaced.
Right.
It's kind of that thing where you're saving money for the holidays, and you have some things that you would rather spend your money on to maybe improve your home, but you're like, hey, I need to make sure I buy people stuff for Christmas. Then your water heater goes out, and then your air conditioning fucks up, and then your car, you hit something on the way, you have to change your tire. Yeah, that costs money. The Vikings are hitting that point where everything that could be bad is happening, because you listed 5 things earlier, Adam. You didn't mention one time about the quarterback situation. There's a very real scenario, and I don't know what the percentage is. The Vikings are paying Kirk Cousins $28.5 million this year to go win football games for another team, and that will piss me off a lot, because if he goes out and balls out in a different city, which I don't think he will, I think ultimately he comes back because he loves Minnesota and he doesn't want to move. But he also has proven in the career, like, if they pay me, I'll go.
But something really wild is if he does get this 2-year, $90 million contract or whatever it is Charlie Waters was talking about. I didn't see his source, so I don't know. But if he makes $45 million, for 2024, and he got $28 million coming from Minnesota. Was that $73 million to play football this year?
I can't ever hate on him on that. That's just the Vikings setting themselves up.
Yeah, major props to him, but dang.
That's the Vikings setting themselves up for failure. That's why I've been convinced this whole time he's going to come back. Not only because the money, it makes sense to pay him to play here, but you don't want that to be the last season where it ends like that, and then you have to thrust a rookie into play. I am never in favor of playing a rookie on week 1 to start anything. Let him sit. Who cares? Let him learn. That's just me, but I don't know, man. You didn't even mention the quarterback, and that's going to be the thing we talk about ad nauseum.
Oh yeah, that's why I avoided it.
Super Bowl. Yeah, after the Super Bowl, that's all we're going to talk about. Shout out to my buddy David here from back home. He's saying draft Will Shipley from Clemson at running back, and then draft Bishop at safety from the University of Utah. So, what's up, David? I'm glad you joined us. I hope you're doing well. I know a little about Will Shipley, being a Carolina Tar Heels fan. I don't know anything about the Utah safety, but I will add him to the list of prospects because
Shipley's got some shake to him.
Does he have starting potential? That's all. The qualification is: do you breathe? You can play safety. I just need you to be on the field.
Okay. Lewisine can breathe.
Yeah. Can you be on the field?
Availability is the best ability.
It really is. It really, really is. We're coming up on an hour. Boys, do you have anything else you want to recap from championship weekend and anything football related before we start plugging away?
I brought up the Charlie Waters article that said Kirk is wanting $45 million a year, but like I said, I hadn't seen any real kind of thing from that anywhere. So
I got one for you. I'm glad I asked because I asked it to myself too. Projected contract for Justin Jefferson. This is sporting news.
A lot of money.
Yeah. The total value of rookie contract here. What might Jefferson's contract extension look like? That's from last year. Where is the most recent one? Here we go. The 3013. Is Mike Zimmer writing this article?
Rick Spielman? Question mark?
Jeff Diamond. So, I'm trying to find it here.
Oh, wow. Jeff Diamond. That's a lot of years ago.
I predict the extension will come in at $172.5 million over 5 new years, 25 to 29. Jefferson's agents will shoot for $175. This will be $35 million a year. We'll settle at 34.5 and top Bosa. People top a defensive end. Holy
Did you
shit.
see Jamar Chase saying he's not going to sign an extension after Justin Jefferson because he wants to see what he gets?
Smart guy.
I can't hate him for that. It's a douchey thing to say, but those two also compete against each other, and it makes
they're friends, and they're competitive too. So I get it, but it's kind of wild to think both those guys are going to get massive contracts.
Expect Jefferson's deal to include $50 million guaranteed at signing, and it will match Bosa at $125 million guaranteed to exceed him. Holy shit! Okay, let me read this just because it's fun and I want to hear what it says. Jefferson's 2024 salary cap helps the Vikings. In Caponomics, that 5-year extension we just talked about will help the Vikings achieve a lower cap number. Base salary would be equal to like $9.45 million, so that's not terrible. I still don't understand how the cap works. I don't get it at all. I'm going to watch a video.
Nobody knows how it works.
So it would be 9.5. We'll round up, and that will replace his current cap number of 19.73. So that will. Basically, in layman's terms, if he does this extension, it will result about $10 million more in savings for the current year. So there you go. If you wanted to have it dumbed down because I'm stupid and I need things explained to me at a kindergarten level, I like to read stuff like that. That was the 33rd team for their credit. But that was another thing I kept seeing floating around on like Facebook or whatever.
So do you think there's any like valid reasons why this contract extension hasn't gotten done, or do you think it's just the two sides haven't really sat down to do it yet?
I mean, the Super Bowl, I know as fans, we're always like, oh, we're ready to go. Let's get everything going. But I mean, the Super Bowl hasn't even been played yet. It's not even technically the off season. So, I mean, there's no rush to do it, right?
I'm sure that they all want to get it done.
Yeah.
And typical, I know that this is a new GM and everything, but when Rick Spielman was here, it was always after that 3rd year, you get that extension done so you don't have to bring the player into the 5th year. Because if Jefferson has to play through his 5th year, and then they have to franchise tag him or something, I mean, I don't want to have to even think about that.
This is a fun thing to end this article. This is who wrote this article up here? Yeah, Jeff Diamond. That's actually hilarious. Comparing Justin Jefferson to the greats, and we talked about this, Kyle and I, in a side chat a couple weeks ago, but he has 392 receptions for 5,899 yards, 30 touchdowns in his short career. He has a very good chance if he keeps this pace up, which with the way the NFL is, as long as he doesn't get hurt, he could very well do that. At passing the all-time leader for the Vikings, Chris Carter, he's already halfway there with the yardage, and he's only been in the league 4 years. He's at 5,899. Chris Carter has 12,383. You guys fathom how crazy that is. Yeah. He has about, I would say, another 10 years of his career or so before he would actually have to retire. So he has a lot of time to make this round up. I don't know that he's ever going to get near the Jerry Rice stuff. They mentioned Jerry Rice, and that's a lot of yards. And he's not really the touchdown guy that I was hoping he would be, but he does get the catches and the yards. But he has a very good chance to keep this up if he stays in Minnesota to pass Chris Carter, which is it's stupid. If he signs a 5-year extension, he stays here for 5 years. He keeps this pace, and you gotta figure there's been a game or two there where he's had a hamstring or an ankle, and then he was out for 7 games this year, and he still has almost 6,000 yards in 4 years. So,
yeah, if he plays the bulk of his career in Minnesota, he should have pretty much every receiving record. He should be near the top for the Vikings.
Because remember, I sent you that list,
I would
Kyle?
imagine so. Yeah,
it's crazy. He's already this year alone. He's going to pass Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen was here for like 8 years, including special teams.
It's insane.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Especially after watching last weekend, and I'm just being a spiteful, hateful bitch about this, but I'm so glad Stephon Diggs and all his theatrics are gone. We absolutely dominated that trade because I'm watching the decline of Stephon Diggs dropping a 60-yard bucket pass laser from Josh Allen in the most crucial moment. That would have been a bigger catch, in my opinion, or maybe not bigger, but as good as the miracle because it still would have been the divisional round. You would have got to the championship, and you would have caught the game-winning catch, which was even longer and almost as spectacular as the miracle here in Minnesota, and it goes right through his hands. And all I could think was... Is it as good
as the pass that bounces off the defender's helmet and then is caught?
Yeah.
Talking about the Detroit game yesterday?
That was such a fun play.
Oh,
that was
man.
wild.
So
wild
crazy
stuff.
Yeah, seeing what Justin Jefferson has done, thank God for that, for him weaseling his way out of Minnesota, because I can't believe in the clutchest moment after crying for all these last couple of years, you can't do your one thing you're supposed to do. Josh Allen put the ball exactly where it needed to be, and he didn't come up with it. So thank you, Stephon Diggs, for giving us Justin Jefferson. Thank you, Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't know if you guys are curious, but in case you are, Taylor Swift is currently touring over in Asia. So the good news is that she will be able to hop a flight after her last concert and make it to the Super Bowl in time. So she should be there.
I'll let you guys know if I see her. Because your boy, like I said before, I'm leaving Friday. Guess who's going to the freaking Super Bowl? Can't wait. I just hope
keep in mind that's February 11th.
Yeah, not this weekend. It will be in 13 days from now. So,
when do we have the Pro Bowl games? When's that coming up?
Couldn't care less. Don't know.
Really, those games are fun. I like watching the games, and for the first time ever, I'm interested to see the flag football. Because that's what it probably should have been the whole time.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about that.
Because there should be 2 Vikings there, right?
Hunter and I think because Kyle Juszczyk and the Niners are going, I think I saw Alexander Madison repost yesterday that CJ Ham might be going in his place.
Alexander Madison is going to be going. I was like, what?
No, I think I saw him post
the amount of players that drop out. Would it shock any of us if Madison got in?
He was on his Instagram story because Kyle Juszczyk, the amazing fullback for the Niners, is going to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Hey, it's time for CJ Ham." I don't know if he was just advocating or if that means he's actually going, but that would be cool. I always love when CJ Ham gets.
There'll be some Vikings to watch during the Pro Bowl games, and I'm interested to check it out. If I have nothing else going on, I'll look. I'm
excited. I'll let you guys know if I meet. I'm just looking for Vikings players. I don't care about any other players on any other team. I'm going there to do a job, so we'll see how it works in my off time, but I will be very pumped to meet Vikings players.
You gonna stand guard in the 49ers locker room?
I don't know. I had a chance if I was still, you guys remember I was in Charlotte, right? So some of my counterparts at the police department for the airport, they got an actual coin. Shout out to my friend Amanda. She's one of the cops there. The Vikings gave her a coin for doing security for them and like sniffing their bags, sniffing their bus, whatever. And it was right after I moved. I came up here and then we came back, and I was like, "Damn it, that could have been me." I would have loved to. I want to search the Panthers locker room. Fuck the Panthers. Send me to the away team. I got this. I'll go say hey to my friend and then meet all the players. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm happy for the opportunity.
Talk about a conflict of interest. Hey, I think my dog smelled something in your bag, but is it a star player? Don't worry about it. Just keep going.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so let's close this up with, of course, I guess we could do our Super Bowl predictions next week since, the game isn't for another 2 weeks. We could hold off on that.
I predict a tie.
Yeah, the first tie in Super Bowl history. That'd be great.
Ty Chandler?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else?
Let's get it rolling. I'll put some graphics up, and we'll start here. First of all, thank you for everyone who is in the chat and giving us great questions. If you'll do us a favor, I know we should do better about this at the beginning of shows, but it's just not our style. If you stuck around this long, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to promote that first. Purple People Pod on YouTube. Hit the notification bell, subscribe. Whenever I schedule these shows and let you know, hey, we're going to do a show today, it'll pop up so you can join in, get your opinions on there, talk with us, because we like to highlight everything that everyone says, and we really appreciate the interaction.
If you like our page on Facebook, you should get a notification on there when we go live.
That's true.
Or if you follow me, which I don't see anybody over in chat, on my Twitch. If you follow my Twitch and watch there, you will get a notification on your phone every time I go live, whether it's for the podcast or games or whatever. So just follow us and join us when you can.
Yeah, you'll get an email if you don't have the Twitch app. You'll get an email for Adam's stuff, which I get, which is really nice. It's a good feature on there. But yeah, like and subscribe, and it'll let you know when we're going to be on, so you can join us because we need your interaction to make the show more fun. We appreciate all the regulars that are in. Give Adam a shout out. Go to thevikingage.com. Find some articles that our own Adam Carlson here has written. Make his numbers go up, help him pay the bills, and find an interesting perspective. I like the group of writers you guys have there, but go give our guys some love, man. Go click on some articles.
Yeah, we got a great team over there, but I have currently come into a couple more larger bills that I'm struggling with a little bit. So if you can go click a little bit, I'd appreciate that. Over on thevikingage.com.
I'm going to do what Charlotte has done so religiously. Find you. And when I go, Adam, I'm going to be a boomer real quick. I'm on the Viking Age now. How can I find your stuff specifically?
Hold on just a second. I'll give you the email for that. Or not email, but the URL. I believe, let's see.
I've got you right here. I'm going to click on your name on one of these. Sweet.
Okay.
I'm going to go and I'm going to try to keep sharing these just like our friend Charlotte does to help you out. That's good promotion, and shout out to Jonathan and Charlotte for doing that.
Yeah, it's a Viking Age /author /Adam B. Carlson. That'll bring you right to me.
Nice. You can also stalk Adam online if you would like to do those things. Here's the handle you can find him at.
Apparently, I'm starting. Oh, got it. Okay, it won't let me send a link in chat. Weird. But yeah, apparently I'm starting to be a little bit of an online gaming influencer because I'm starting to get some offers to sponsor some games here that are coming up pretty soon. And that's because I've been playing a lot of Wordle and a lot of Connections on the New York Times website, and apparently people are starting to notice that.
Congrats on that. Love that. You guys can follow Adam. Give him some love on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, Twitch.
TikTok and Blue Sky, and I don't even know what else. I got all of them pretty much. I even got Threads. I don't go on there often, but I'm there. Yeah,
that was an interesting conversation we were having about Threads. Threads is a very niche place.
Before I plug my stuff, I checked out the Vikings app real quick to make sure we did not miss anything. And while we were recording, the Vikings posted an update. TJ Hawkinson underwent successful surgery on his ACL today. So, props for TJ
Hawkinson. You brought that up.
Speedy recovery.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kyle, because I did see this the other day, but it didn't cross my mind on the show. The reason that he has not had surgery yet is because the swelling had not gone down. So,
oh boy,
yeah, that's what I was reading on Twitter. So obviously you got to wait for the right time to have the surgery. But if it's gone down now and we basically put it at February, I would assume maybe he'll be back in October after the Vikings get the first couple seasons or the first couple weeks.
The first and the last of October,
somewhere in there.
I don't know if you guys watch Mallrats. I love Kevin Smith.
Oh,
sorry, I forgot to promote this too. Go check out Kyle West's photography website here at kylewest84.pickfair.com. Always promoting both of these talented guys on the show. If you're not reading Vikings articles, you should be buying Kyle West's photographs. That's what you should be doing. Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at NCDogDude. It's not very fun and exciting, but I will talk about dogs. I will talk about sports, and I will post a lot of music, especially on the Instagram. But there's where it is. That's all I've got.
Yeah, you can message Kyle Smith about horror movies and ask him to watch one sometime.
And then I can go with Adam Carlson on his YouTube channel here. We will review one. Yeah, let's do that.
I'd like that. And Mr. West can come along too if he likes.
Yeah.
But I hear he doesn't like movies.
My first job was at a video store.
And then you were at a movie theater, right?
Yeah, for a short time, yep.
There you go.
That was my dream job in high school. I love that.
It was fun. The pay was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. But
that's like the military,
man. It's weird going and looking at like driving past a Burger King and seeing like, wages starting at $13, and in my head I'm thinking, when I started at the grocery store when I was 16, I was making $4.25 an hour.
Minimum wage when I started was $5.75, $5.45,
ridiculous.
Somewhere in there. It was below $6.
Yeah, I remember my first. It was $7.05, and I thought I was the richest person in the entire state.
That's a pretty good pay compared to my $4.50 or $4.25 or whatever.
That manual labor pays great. I was out in the sun. Let's talk about that while we end the show. What was your first job? I worked at an RV dealership, which was not even a mile from my house. I skateboarded to work, and I was out.
You did.
I did, and yeah. I wore a wife beater every day. Walked to the back, and whenever one was purchased, we had to detail it. So I'm out there in the sun, just getting beat to shit by the hot sun in the summer, and washing and detailing and putting Armor All on these tires and vacuuming the insides, all for a cheeseburger an hour.
Are we talking about our first like legal jobs where we got paid from a business with a check?
Yes.
Okay. Then yeah, it's a grocery store. I started as a carryout and I ended as the night manager.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Video store for me, really quick story to end on. I'll keep it super quick. So, you used to have to check the discs. People will put their movies, the return movies in the case. So you pop it open, make sure the right disc is in the right case and it's not all scratched to beat hell. Went to pop a disc out and a cockroach jumped out of the case.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, shit you not. Cockroach jumped right on out of that bad boy. And so I took it and tried to smack it.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is it when someone an adult movie?
So the store I worked at didn't have that section because we were a part of a larger chain.
Gotcha.
And so the ones we had very briefly were like the ones you would see on HBO. The kind of censored softcore stuff. We had very briefly. Little awkward, especially when you're 18 years old and the guy renting it from you is like 45 and you're like, dude, haven't you heard of the internet?
That's funny with that because that's a whole event and a night for that guy. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It would be super funny when they would rent like a stack of them and you'd be like, I know what this guy's doing tonight.
Marathon session.
I have to do this before we sign off. It just kind of fits in with it. Kyle West, what's your favorite scary movie?
Ooh, the Halloween franchise.
Working at the video store like Randy. Yeah. I love it, dude. It finally decided that it was going to stop being angry. That knuckle tattoo is not fun.
That looks really nice. It held up really well.
It's got blotchy spots. Some are a little darker than it, but I like that it kind of fits in with this other dog, so it's kind of faded a little bit. So, yeah.
All right, I do want to thank everyone who joined us in chat. We hung out a little bit too long here at the end. Got off track a lot, but sometimes that's fun. Good times. Oh, yeah. And we love when you guys come in here and share your thoughts with us because it keeps us talking and gives us unique ideas and questions to go off. And thanks for coming in. And we'll be back next week. We'll talk about the upcoming Super Bowl, I guess, next week. And whatever else happens. Maybe there'll be some Vikings news. I don't know. Maybe the Pro Bowl games. Again, I don't know when that is. I think it's coming up soon. But in the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.